Stay tuned for more news after a...
SCTV now begins its programming day. Yes, it's SCTV, beaming its 2 cents worth across the nation. Starring Joe Flaherty, Eugene Levy, Andrea Martin, and Martin Short. Television as you've never seen it before. This is SCTV.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Guy Caballero.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Guy Caballero, owner and president of SCTV. Now, lately I've been getting a lot of mail from you people out there asking why there's not more British programming on SCTV. There's just tons of mail coming in. Here's one from, Lyle Alzado. It says, Guy, please, more British programming. I love it. Well, Lyle and the rest of you fine intellectuals out there, I know you appreciate British programming, but we have a policy at SCTV, and that is no British programming. Why? Well, for 2 good reasons. The first is PBS has all that stuff. They got the good stuff. And secondly, the rest is bad. And I mean bad. Now, I know you're sitting out there saying, oh, that's not true, Guy. Oh, no. No, we love British programming. It's classy. It's elegant. It's, oh, so genteel. Genteel. Don't make me sick, you cheap hose bags. You're nothing but pretentious. You want to see good British programming? Well, we have something for you right here. We have a film clip. I want you to take a look at this. You think it's so fine and wonderful? Well, feast your eyes on this bit of British brilliance. Go ahead, take a look.
And now, from York, it's time for You Be the Host, with this week's host, Jonathan Daly.
Good morning. Instead of our usual format, today I'd like to talk about dreams. My guest is waitress at Betty's Tea Shop. Will you welcome her, please? Let's welcome her.
It's a bit confusing, isn't it? My name is Betty, but it's not Betty of Betty's Tea Shop. That is, I work there, but I don't own it.
Do you ever dream?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I had a very interesting dream the other evening. I dreamt I was playing Hamlet, and at the point in the play where it comes that Hamlet says, oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I said, oh, what a rogue and messy slave am I.
It's peasant.
The audience is right. You must tell us another dream. Forget about that one. Tell us another one. A different one. Not the one you just told us, but an altogether different one.
This isn't the usual way you treat your guests, or is it?
Audience?
Yes!
Well, excuse me.
Oh, yes! Well, see what I mean? Whoa, that show, You Be the Host, goes on for another 45 minutes, too. And that was the best part. So I rest my case. So if there are any of you people out there that still want British programming, I'll tell you right now, you're not going to get it. Because that's basically what they're selling, and we're not buying. So the next time you have a craving for something British, go out and order up a mess of fish and chips. Because you're not going to get British programming here. No, sirree. Just fine SCTV type programming, the good stuff. Not the great stuff, but a lot better than that. Take.
Hello. You know, it's so important nowadays that you keep your weight at a proper level so that you not only feel good, but you look good, too. Consequently, a lot of people ask me, Dr. Thurman, what's the best way to lose weight? Well, I've seen a lot of fad diets come and go, but the only approach that really works is to stay away from rich foods. You're just going to have to count those calories, and that's all there is to it. So, is there an easy way to lose weight? I wish there was. You're just going to have to count those calories. That's what you're going to have to do. Count calories. Pounds will just drop off. And I'm a doctor. Good health to you.
This has been a Medical Minute with Dr. Ryan Thurman. And now it's time for Grimley's Celebrity Fairy Tales with Ed Grimley.
Hello, my friends of all ages. I must say it's nice seeing you, you know. I hope that you're comfortable in your homes. If it's too hot in the room that you're in, possibly you can just turn down that dial thing. Or perhaps you can open a window. That could be pleasant. In the same respect, if it's too cold, so often a blanket is nearby.
Edward, it's time to let us out again. Edward, it's time to down the story. Edward, it's time to let us out again. Edward, it's time to tell a story.
Those are the voices of our storybook fairies, beckoning us to release them so they can relate this week's story, you know. Let's let them out and hear their merry tale. Oh, someone's put the book up very high. The joke's on me, I suppose. This is a very, very good story about a little fella who was... That was certainly unpleasant. However, it can be, like, decent to sometimes just read a story on the floor, I must say. This story is about a fella who was the size of someone's thumb. And it is entitled, The Fella Who Was the Size of Someone's Thumb. Once upon a time, there was a fella who was the size of someone's thumb. And he was the smallest fella in all the land. Even though his mother was embarrassed by his size, she had to admit it had certainly been an easy delivery.
It is short. It is short.
Swell idiots. Yes, I'm short. No question about that. Very good. He also had two older brothers who were very mean and constantly making fun of how small he was.
Ed, pass the salt.
Sure, no problem. There you go, Raymond. What salt you wanted?
You betcha. It's not coming out. Oh, sorry, Shrimp. I didn't see you.
Hey, Ed. You want the rest of my peas?
The only person who was kind to the little fella was Clarissa, the daughter of the town cobbler. And because of her kindness, his love for her knew no bounds. Well, what are you saying? You don't want to marry me?
It's not that I don't want to marry you, Ed. I just feel that
I know exactly what you're going to say, and it's been very sweet of you not to mention it, I must say. It's because I'm poor, isn't it?
No, it's not really a question of poverty.
Is it because I'm homely?
Yes, but no, it's even more than that, Ed.
Oh, You mean it's like the height thing? Well, listen, it's not as if I haven't gotten that before, you know?
Oh, Ed, it's just that I've always imagined that someday I might marry a man who was taller than I am.
Oh, well, then I can see where our marriage might be a bit of a disappointment for you. I suppose my wearing lifts would be of no avail, I guess, no.
Clarissa, we're all going swimming in the lake. We're leaving now if you want to come. Oh, hi, Ed.
Hi, Ken. It's nice seeing you.
Look, Ed, I've got to go. You can get home by yourself, can't you?
Oh, sure, yes. No problem. Only took me 2.5 weeks to get here. Oh, give me a break. I can't believe that this has happened. She's left me high and dry for Ken. Ken the goof, if you ask me. Thank you very much. I feel like punching someone. Oh, isn't that pleasant? Don't I sound pleasant? Suddenly I want to hurt people. Oh, I'll tell you, this height problem, it's changing me. It's making me mental, you know. I might as well just jump in this fountain and end it all.
That'd be a stupid thing to do. Of course, knowing you, it wouldn't be the first time.
You know me?
Of course I do. I'm your fairy godfather, and no cracks.
My fairy godfather? Well, how come I've never met you before?
Because you never needed me before. I mean, not really needed me. Look, I'm your fairy godfather, and I love you, damn it.
Oh, that's very decent of you, I must say.
Now, look, I'm here to grant you a wish. Just one wish, though.
Oh, that's an easy one. I wish I was a little bit taller.
Well, how tall?
Well, normal height wouldn't be bad.
You want to be that tall, huh? Well, think about it. Circus life can be very rewarding.
No, thank you. But I think I wish I was a regular-sized person.
I love this part. I feel just like Doug Henning. Fortunately, however, I'm not. Your wish is my command.
That man! Mommy, he has no clothes on.
In a hurry to become a tall person, he had forgotten to ask for a tall person's boga, and he was arrested for public nudity and thrown into a nearby prison.
Hey, kid, how old are you?
Get lost, Bert. This one's mine.
Yeah, says who, Leon?
Says me, Bert.
4 months later, having learned his lesson, he was released to a halfway house where he eventually became the house cook, married the cobbler's daughter, Clarissa, and lived happily ever after. So, that was a good one. I hope you enjoyed it. I guess if there's a moral to tonight's fairy tale, it's that when it comes to making wishes, you should, like, be more specific, you know? So now, please welcome tonight's guest. He played the fairy godfather, and he also wrote tonight's fairy tale. Please welcome Mr. Alan Alda. I must say it's very nice seeing you.
Well, thank you, Ed. It was a pleasure. I really had a terrific time doing that part. It gave me a chance to stretch and grow, and try some new things.
That was a very good series at MASH.
Well, yes, toward the end, we started saying something about war and violence in this nation. I think so. I hope so, anyway.
Well, you know, when...
Actually, saying something is the most important thing. And that's why I wrote that final prison scene into the script that we just saw, because I thought it was very important that we say something about the horrible prison conditions that existed in our country and continue to exist to this day. I mean, I get hot under the collar when I think about it. I love this country, damn it, and I think that what this nation really needs is...
Could you just hold that thought 1 second, Alan? Thank you. Yes?
Dinner!
Would it be all right if I invited my friend, Mr. Alan Alda?
No!
Well then, very good. Well, I guess that's all the time we have. I would like to thank my guest, Mr. Alan Alda. And I hope that he's...
Edward, it's time for us to say goodbye. Edward, it's time for us to go. Edward, it's time for us to say goodbye. Edward, it's time
So,
for us to go.
until next week, it's been very nice seeing you, I must say.
Now, Ed,
I really didn't get a chance to finish what I was talking about, and I think it's very important. I was talking about society as a whole. And, damn it!
For more information on prison reform, send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Prison Reform, care of Grimley's Celebrity Fairy Tales. Attention, Mr. Alan Alda, Post Office Box 3, Mellonville.
We don't live with what...
Hello. I'd like to talk to you about the importance of exercise. Not just for young people, but for older people as well. Often I've had patients come to me, people in their late 60s and early 70s, and they ask me if it's safe for them to exercise. I tell them, of course it is. Now, certainly you're going to have to undergo a thorough physical examination just to make sure everything's in proper running order. But if everything checks out, then there's no reason why anyone at any age can't have a regular exercise program. You'll feel better, you'll look better, why, you'll even find yourself able to think more clearly. Exercise. You can't beat it. Take it from me, Dr. Ryan Thurman. Now that's ridiculous. No, it was exactly a minute. I've timed that 10 times I've timed that. No, somebody's played with it. Somebody has tampered with it. No, I don't know what to say. Good health to you. No, I want to check.
This has been a Medical Minute with Dr. Ryan Thurman.
Really, yeah?
It's time for Dougal Curry's Canadian Jazz and Practical Amusement with your host, Dougal Curry.
Good evening. This is the first edition of Canadian Gaffes and Practical Amusements. So let me just explain how our show operates. It consists of two elements. First, the practical amusement, more commonly known as the practical joke, where our subjects are duped into accepting a given set of circumstances which are patently false. Secondly, the gaffe, or blunder, or faux pas, any mistake of a humorous nature. The whole concept falls into the arena of good fun. So now let me introduce my co-host, the First Lady of Canadian Stage, Sandra Wicks.
Thank you, Dougal. How nice to see you again.
Sandra, tell us a little bit about tonight's first practical amusement.
I certainly will, Dougal. It happens to be one you're all too familiar with.
Oh.
It involves you paying an impromptu visit to the home of the devilishly handsome Philip Marks.
Yes, I remember it well. So let's look at tonight's first practical amusement on our monitors in the studio. Me.
Dougal, what's going on?
You're on Canadian Gaffs and Practical Amusements. There's the camera. Where? Right there. Where? There. Yeah. There. Right there.
I don't see it,
There.
Dougal.
There it is.
There! I see. Practical amusement, huh?
I was hiding.
Where were you hiding?
Over here. Hiding there.
And then you'd run down
And
to
then
the
I
door.
run up, push the button, and you came up. Now let's meet a good sport, Mr. Philip Marks.
Philip, did you at any time think that a practical joke was being played upon you?
Not really, and I'll tell you why. On that particular day, I was expecting the delivery of a parcel from Canada Post, which was to arrive at roughly the same time that Dougal visited me. I therefore surmised that the postman was having difficulty in locating me, which, of course, was not the case.
Thank you, Philip Marks.
We will return with more Canadian Gaffs and Practical Amusements in a moment.
Yeah, your plans for
On the
world
next
domination
episode of
working
Six Gun
out
Justice.
Real relentless like.
Boss,
What?
how come you don't use no adverbs?
I beg your pardon?
You know, how come no adverbs? I mean, wouldn't it be easier to say relentlessly instead of real relentless like?
You're waiting me, boss.
Real superficial like.
Don't ever call me on my grammar again.
And now we fight. Japanese fashion.
And time is running out as Don Mills attempts to thwart the Emperor's plans for world domination. So join us for the exciting conclusion of Six Gun Justice on the Happy Hour next month on SCTV.
Sandra, what would you do if you were strolling down the street and a trash bin started speaking to you?
That, of course, Dougal, is the subject of our next practical amusement, in which we enlisted the services of our producer, Lionel Napier Humphreys.
And audience, please place yourselves in the shoes of the passers-by, imagining, if you will, how you would react if such a trash bin spoke to you.
Hi there. Lovely morning, madam, isn't it?
Now watch.
Hello? Hi. It's the trash can talking, madam. One moment, please. Hello?
Now, Dougal, my favorite moment. Notice the attitude on the next passerby.
How are you this afternoon, sir? Thank you so much for stopping. I really must tell you, I certainly envy you for taking a stroll down the street. As a trash can, I'm completely immobile. Well, of course I am. I would have to be.
Now let's meet our talking trash bin, Lionel Napier Humphreys. Lionel, that certainly was amusing.
Yes, it was funny, wasn't it? But I can't help but think, and maybe this is just me,
that it would have been much funnier if someone had actually stopped and had a conversation with the trash can, eh? Now, you have to admit that would have been funny. Don't you think so? I think so, in a way.
No, I actually think it would have been detrimental.
I'll have to second that opinion, Dougal. I think it would have been a classic case of gilding the lily.
Yes, it would be extremely naive for anyone to believe that a trash can can truly vocalize.
Audience, what do you think? Now it's time in the show for the gaff portion.
Oh, Dougal. Dougal, we've somewhat of a surprise for you.
Oh?
Your staff has found a priceless outtake from your television show Headline Challenge, which I think you might remember.
Well, I'm at my wit's end, Philip, trying to figure out just what that might be.
Well, why don't we observe that gaff?
Very good, panel. Good investigative work on that one. And now it's time in the program for our mystery guest. And tonight, how clumsy of me. Pardon me.
Now, that's what I call an A#1 toot. I mean, you couldn't ask for a more embarrassing moment, could you? No, you couldn't. Not really.
That reminds me of a similar experience with Raymond Marcy. Not quite as ludicrous, but close to it.
Philip, don't you think that clip could be construed as an exercise in bad taste?
Oh, come now, Dougal. Where's your sense of humor?
It certainly doesn't lie in that area.
Oh, Dougal, do you know what I think? And again, this is just me. But I think that you're being just a little bit too sensitive, don't you? And I mean, a way you would have to. And I'm sure the audience agrees with me. Audience?
Yes.
Well, I see our time is up. Join me next week for the second edition of Canadian Gaffs and Practical Amusements. Good night. I hope you're satisfied, Philip. You've driven out the entire audience with your tastelessness.
That's bullshit, Dougal, and you know it.
Don't use that kind of language with me. I'll have you up before the actor board.
Don't quote union rules to me, fella. I know them backwards and forwards.
Dougal, I really think that you're acting like a stick in the mud. Don't you think so? I do. Don't you, in a way?
You know, when Raymond Marcy passed us, he laughed and made a humorous moment out of it.
Hello. In this fast-paced, hurly-burly, whirlwind society we live in today, it's almost impossible to avoid stress. And stress ultimately leads to stomach problems and ulcer. What can we do if we get an ulcer? There are 3 things to remember. Number 1, try to eliminate the stress that caused your ulcer. For example, you might find that your work situation is the pressures of the work situation, so avoid it. Number 2 is bland diet. Bland diet because you can't even eat spicy. Obviously, you got the problem. Jeez! Antacids, take antacids. Cool your stomach. I need a longer show.
This has been a Medical Minute with Dr. Ryan Thurman.
Hello, I'm Yolanda de Vilbus. Welcome to Melonville Calendar. It's quite a week this week in Melonville. Monday, Father and Sunday at the From Hair to Eternity Hair Salon, or what used to be called Gus's Barbershop. Fathers and sons, 2 haircuts, 2 hairstyles, rather, for the price of 1. Tuesday, the Melonville a cappella choir will be returning by bus from Meckling. So let's all get out there and give them a big welcome as they'll be returning by bus on Wednesday. Tuesday. Wednesday, fluoride goes back in the water. Thursday, Melonville Senior Citizen Home is honoring Melonville's oldest citizen, Florence Bernetsky, who will be 104. Those wishing to celebrate cake and a beverage will be served at 2. Just a reminder, this is not a free lunch. Friday, snow removal on Main Street. Well, as we all know, this week is Rotary Week. Rotary Week in Melonville. And with us today on the Melonville calendar is the Vice Chairman of the Rotary Club, Mr. Wib Switzer. Welcome to Melonville calendar, Wib.
Thank you, Yolanda.
I see you had your hair styled at the From Hair to Eternity hair salon. Did you go with your son?
No, I went with my father.
It looks very nice.
Well, the thing about Gus is you can't tell you've just had your haircut.
Could we see the back? No, you can't. All right, Wib, why don't you tell us a little bit about what is going on with the Melonville Rotary Club?
Well, I guess you'd have to say the big story, Yolanda, would be the sign.
You're referring, of course, to the Melonville sign, the new one on the outskirts of Melonville.
As you know, since the year 1978, your local Rotary Club has made it its prime objective to erect a sign that would welcome visitors to Melonville in a courteous manner, and I think we've captured that thought fairly well. I've brought along the sign if you'd care to take a move.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a sort of welcome you'll get as you're approaching on Route 1 south from Meckling.
Well, then the Melonville a cappella choir is in for a pleasant surprise sometime on Tuesday.
I'd love to be there to see their faces.
So would I. Wib, I see that the melon part of Melonville is spelled with 2 L's.
Well, I know your feelings on the subject, Yolanda. But it was spelled wrong in the original town charter back in 1907, year of our Lord, and your local Rotary Club has decided to stick with that original wrong spelling.
Thank you for coming on the show, Wib. Just a final reminder. There are plenty of tickets left for the Historical Benefit Society raising funds for the airstrip of the new paving of the airstrip in the Buttonville, Canada, our sister city. So let's get behind this cause, as the response so far has been bad. It should be a good benefit. I'm Yolanda de Vilbis. Goodbye.
Oh, I gotta go. Can you hold it?
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Max Lansky, and this is Yaron. My wife can't get a stole here in town. She jokingly says to me, Max, you find me a decent fur here in town, and I can get you 10 to 15 votes.
Backed by popular demand, it's Max Lansky, next month on SCTV.
it's SCTV, beaming its 2 cents worth across the nation. Starring Joe Flaherty, Eugene Levy, Andrea Martin, and Martin Short. Television as you've never seen it before. This is SCTV.
In the past, Philosophers at Work has dealt with the morality of annihilation, anorexia nervosa, and social interaction. Join us this week for a freewheeling rapid-fire special edition of Philosophers at Work with host Greta Kubler-Cook.
Well, here's one. Rabbi Kushner asks, why do bad things happen to good people? Clive Bushy.
Well, conversely, Greta, why do good things only happen to bad people?
Example?
Bernard Adler. Easy. On the one hand, Sugar Ray Leonard gets a detached retina. On the other, Leon Spinks gets his driver's license back. QED.
And PDQ.
Plato defined luck as the happy coincidence of necessity and good fortune. Question, who is the world's luckiest white man?
Yes, the questions are intriguing, the answers incisive and biting.
World's luckiest white man? This is a game for children.
No, Acidophilus, I'm making this difficult. I'm ruling out Gavin McLeod.
How can you rule out Gavin McLeod?
Yeah, sure. Lazenby. Lazenby, you know who he plays? The only person he's playing is Lazenby.
And forget more. Sean Connery is James Bond.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you.
I will not have Roger Moore's name sullied.
I saw that coming.
Yes, the axioms come thick and fast, the concepts laser quick, and semantics go out the window on rapid fire Philosophers